we went down to the jail, and I saw these police officers after they'd already taken off, all their equipment, and they were just sitting there, and I was talking with them, and I was having a conversation with them as people. And, they saw me, I saw them, and they know who I am, and I know who they are. And we were having a conversation. I was feeling so angry, and I don't know why I was feeling so angry, because I knew that we can't stop violence through violence and anger. But I couldn't help it, because I saw these police just a few nights before. I saw what they looked like. I talked with them as human beings. And here I saw them again. They recognized me, and I was looking at them. And they were pepper spraying me and beating people up around me. And I was just thinking, how could this possibly be happening? Not to mention, across the street, the pro-war protesters were cheering and laughing while police were beating people up. It's so sad.
And I saw one person that I know and one other person run to stand in front of a truck that was carrying military supplies. I saw police coming towards her, about to smash into her. I didn't know what was going to happen, so I ran towards her, and I tried to protect her. They had already kicked her down onto the ground, and they were kicking her continuously. And she was trying to get on the sidewalk. They told her, get out of the street, get out of the street. I tried to protect her, and I tried to push her onto the sidewalk, and at this point, I pretty much don't remember how this happened, but somehow I was sprayed. I think many of us were sprayed in that area, and it was extremely vicious, and I was in extraordinary pain.
The police didn't seem like it was even bothering them. They were laughing about it, people being pepper sprayed, they were dragging people the backs of their shirts. I personally, while I was it got to the point where I couldn't stand any more of the pepper spray, and as I was clearly making my way to the side of the road, they sprayed me a couple more times directly to the face. And fortunately, I got immediate medical attention, but I was temporarily blinded, and it was a very frightening situation.
All laws enacted domestically and signed in international treaties will be binding to all states. At this point, an aggressive war, a war of preemption, one that is not defensive, is illegal under international and U.S. law. What was defined in the Nuremberg trials at the end of World War II was that all citizens of a country, if they were complacent in the actions, if they did not do everything that was under their power to resist the illegal actions of their state, they were held responsible.
I should say the reason that I came out seems to be fairly different from that of a lot of other people here. The reason that I came out to the Port of Olympia is because I'm interested in following Jesus, and supposedly so is George W. Bush. And I don't have words for that. It's so frustrating to me to hear a man talk about how his faith supposedly impacts his life, and how he, supposedly cares about people, and how supposedly he's supposed to be following a man who's drawing on the ancient Hebrew prophets who are all about justice, and who are about peace, and who are about tearing down the centers of power when they do not represent the people. That is why I was there.
Police came up and were pepper spraying us just down the line, maybe 4 times or so, and after that started getting their clubs out and tackling people from one side. And as I was tackled, I was pulled by my hair and being told to, quote, take my fucking goggles off repeatedly. And I was on the ground and having my hair pulled, having my hood pulled back, my goggles were pulled down, and I was pepper sprayed in the face. I had my hands over my eyes after that. I couldn't see for about half an hour or so. Thank God the medics were great. I would like to thank them so much, because they were there right when I came out of the blockade, and they were always there to help me, and I just think that is great, and people were so brave and everything, and I just think it's so wrong that we were out there to promote peace and we were greeted with such violence, and I think that's just totally wrong.
It is far too often, in my opinion, that people do not take responsibility for their actions, and I'd like to state that I feel I have taken responsibility for all of my actions, and it is the police officers who have not and who do not have to take responsibility for any of their actions ever, or at least hardly ever. They hide behind their masks and pretend like they have rights that we do not, and this is a system that I am ashamed to be in any way a part of. In the morning, I was part of the very first blockade that occurred on the side street, standing next to, I believe it's Sam who was talking earlier, and heard the police officers give us a few warnings that if we did not disperse from the street, they would, by any force necessary, make sure that we did. There was a man in the crowd who kept on shouting at them that no force was necessary. And I'd like to say thank you to him for saying that.
Everyone that's been up here has been giving their stories and invoking much more than the physical abuse that we were privy to at the hands of the Olympia Police Department. And speaking directly, I feel, to the psychological domination and subjugation that they were aiming for. My personal experience, though not as physically devastating as a lot of the people who have been up here, was so psychologically and emotionally traumatizing that I still don't think I've dealt with it properly. It wasn't for me the fact that I was pepper sprayed, violently manhandled, as much as that was true. It was more that once those things were done, I was stumbling around in the muddy quarry next to the entrance to the gate, watching this be done in a much more brutal fashion to very, very close friends and companions. And I wasn't in every situation. And I'm really appreciative that everyone found the strength and ability to come up here and illuminate those situations for me, those ones that I wasn't eyewitness to. But the malicious intent of this psychological, assault upon all of us is really what I think is so important. Because the police presence, their physical stature, everything that they were doing, their stoicism and their indifference to our suffering was a direct psychological assault upon us, as much as their physical abuse could, physically hurt us. It was not their intent to break our bones or to blind us, but more to have us watch as they did these things to our friends, to have us feel completely powerless. And I would like to thank everyone in this room and those people who weren't there, who are here now, to show us that that's completely unacceptable and that it's not.
People were dancing around and saying like "fuck the pigs" and stuff, and I got a chance to make a megaphone announcement, and I said to the protesters, please don't call the police pigs because it's super rude and stuff. And then less than a minute later, I got sprayed in the face, and I watched him get covered just like 3 canisters, like right in his group's face, and it just people were. I don't know. I just don't understand why it's still happening. It's just fuck. I'm really scared, and I don't want to be. I don't know. I want this to mean something, so I hope that people continue to go out there, and you don't have to be pepper sprayed. You could just stand back. But please just keep going out there, I guess. My mom called right after I got sprayed, and she's like, "So, Erin, what are you up to?" I was like, "I just got pepper sprayed." And a girl I work with, Gabrielle, she came up here. She was lying on the ground, and she just went limp, and people, the cops were pulling her off, and they threw her in a ditch. And I told my mom that, and I was like, "What can I do? I have no idea what I can do." And she just said, "You can't do anything. You just can't do anything right now." And I just said I had to go. That's it.